back to the Jeep. I mean, oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that's about as grip and go as it gets. Hey everybody, welcome back to Dream Garage. Welcome back to the vlog. Welcome back to the channel. And today is a great day, like always. And I got some cool things to talk to you about today. But first, we want to get into this. This is a 2018 Jeep Trackhawk supercharged 707 horsepower beast. And this SUV, I'm actually not a huge Jeep fan personally. You know, they have a really cool following, and the Wrangler's specific, and Grand Cherokee was kind of more of the luxury aspect of the line for Jeep for a long time. So, you know, obviously it's a good brand, has a great following. It's just not been a body style that I really enjoyed personally comparative to other brands. However, this Trackhawk is a completely different bear than just your average Grand Cherokee or a Wrangler or anything of that nature. So this is specifically along the lines of the Hellcat Challenger to just rock people's world when it comes to SUVs, especially in the performance aspect of an SUV. And what's cool of the last, I would say over the last 3 to 5 years or more, you know, brands have really picked up on the fact that most people want SUVs. Most of us have families and need more than just 2 doors. And especially when you're a 1 or 2 car family, you know, if you're going to spend money to capture a vehicle of this caliber, you want to be able to still have the versatility to take kids to games or be able to get through winter or just sit up higher and still want the performance as a supercar. And the Jeep did a phenomenal job with inspiring that in this vehicle to where it's still a beast. And you know, it can, you know, let loose of the tires if it wants to. It's all-wheel drive, so you can definitely use this 4 seasons year round. And especially when you're in Indiana or in the Midwest and you're going to have winters, you're going to have colder weather, you're going to have snow, you want the most versatile car or SUV that you can find for the money. And these cars new were around 100 grand, give or take. And now they're obviously in the used market. And you know, this one's different because this one, you know, being an 18, it's got 25,000 miles on it. And I mean, you can just tell how clean this car really is. And so you can pick one of these up used for, I think, around 60 grand, 50s, 60s, maybe cut in the 70s, depending on with the market right now. Obviously the resale is a lot higher than what the normal market calls for on cars of this age, being 3 or 4 years old. But I mean, you can see has the yellow brake calibers. It's actually Brembo brakes on this, which Brembo, especially in domestic and even exotic car world, is one of the top brands when it comes to performance brakes. Some of them have ceramic brakes now. The new Z06 will have carbon ceramic brakes, but the Brembo brake is a really good stopping force when it comes to a brake style for a performance SUV, performance truck, or performance car. And right now we're in kind of the glory days of where you can take the kind of performance you want and put it in any kind of body style you want, in a sense of, you know, these brands are doing such a great job with that. I mean, used to 10 years ago, I mean, to get a supercar performance, you really had to have a car. It had to be either, I know that, you know, Jeep and Chrysler, they came out with the 300 and the Charger SRT8s in the mid 2000s, which was kind of a cool thing because nobody prior to that had really done something to that caliber yet. The GM had the Impala SS, but that was really a 5.3 And I mean, it was a good car, and it had okay power, but it wasn't to the caliber of what what the competition was. Of course, AMG and the and the Mercedes aspect, and the M series and the BMWs. So sedans had kind of caught on 10-15 years ago about trying to take a family car or something that was equipped for a family and still be able to put performance in it that you can use. And so then post 2010, you know, there was a couple SUVs that were starting to get into the domestic aspect, but more from the aspect of the exotic world, where, you know, they were producing SUVs that started to have the same kind of power as you can find in a supercar. So the Trackhawk is a great example of that, and very popular. One of my people from my job has one, and they love it. They drive it every day. It's their daily driver. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to fire this baby up and take this thing for a ride. Now on the inside, this vehicle is very, very nice. You know, they got really nice stitching and leather, different materials on the steering wheel, which looks really good. Of course, everybody's steering wheels now are equipped fully functional to keep your hands as much on the steering wheel as possible. So like the cruise control and the audio controls and your Bluetooth and things of that nature. The instrument cluster looks really, really good. This revs to about 6,000 even, so that's where your shifting is. But the screen got a good size. I'm assuming it's 8+ inch screen. But you still have your controls where you can dial them, which honestly I kind of like that. I love new technology. However, having some of the old school buttons and knobs, it might not look as good, but you don't have to worry about it, you know, false functioning just by not being able to touch a button to change it or tap, which a lot of these have gone to. But, you know, of course, it's got down here the actual like track mode, sport mode, snow, has a tow mode, has launch control, which is really cool because, you know, don't let an SUV fool you. I mean, it's you know, it weighs more, but I mean, the thing still lets loose and goes nuts on power, which is what you want out of an SUV. It's got a full panoramic roof. So, you know, your back passengers have the sunroof as well. Well, only the front half opens, but they have ways to look out above them, especially on a nice night or nice day. They have the same abilities as front passengers and drivers have. Nice audio system. Harman Kardon is the audio system that is equipped in this vehicle. Has memory seats, and the seats are actually really comfortable. They kind of hug you really well, but they're not like Recaro seats. They have the same similar kind of bolsters on the side that kind of come around you, but they're still very comfortable. And for a guy that's my size, it's very, very important, especially when you're wanting a car of this caliber. You want to make sure that you still are going to be comfortable when you're driving it. So let's take this baby for a ride. Now, in other news, while we're getting on the road here, going through the neighborhood, so the Maserati's battery is dead, and this is the 4th battery I think I've replaced this year, between the old boat before we sold it and my Escalade. I had to get a battery in it, and so it seems like stuff never fails to have to be replaced, or you have to do. But that's kind of the part of owning vehicles, and you know, batteries don't last forever, and so we will be getting that replaced in the next day or so. My Escalade from back in August, I had a little fender bender, very minimal, so I've been driving it. I mean, unless you're right up on it, you wouldn't even know it's there. It's supposed to be getting fixed, but with our issues with shipping and issues with getting parts and things like that, I mean, all I need was a bumper cover and a light, and it's been 2.5 months, and I still haven't had the parts in to be able to drop it off to get that done. So as you can tell, I mean, the cost of ownership and the fun part of being human, making mistakes, but also having vehicles is, you know, it feels like it's always something. you know, the boat, we finally got it put up. We got the fiberglass fixed. There was just some touch-ups needed done, and a couple little scrapes and scratches in the hull that needed fixed, and so we got that done by a local fiberglass repair shop that does work on new manufactured boats and used boats, and did a great job. Got the oil change, got the horn fixed. So whenever you buy a boat the first year, you're kind of just going through to make sure that it's ready for the next year, and you don't want to have to launch a boat and waste a day because it's not going to run. So the boat performed great this year. It was definitely something I was very happy about, as far as with the performance and everything that the seller had, Mike had described to me. So very thankful for that. Corvette, it's got a little electrical issue. It seems like I cannot get that thing to go wrong when I've got it at the shop. Luckily I work there, so it's not a big deal. But you know, it's one of those things where you know, every one of the vehicles, it seems like when one's fixed, the next one kind of has a little temperament to it, and you got to attend to it. So back to the Jeep. I mean, oh yeah, I mean, that's about as grip and go as it gets. This is a really cool Jeep. This is the first Trackhawk I've drove, so I tell you, this is impressive. I'm thoroughly impressed with the performance of this thing. I mean, if you want to drive it like a Equinox or a Blazer, or you know, any kind of vehicle that you drive, it's not really performance driven. It's more or less just kind of just a vehicle to drive day to day. I mean, this is perfect for that. But I mean, it really enhances the power for you if you want to get into it. You definitely aren't going to get stuck not being able to get out of your own way. You're definitely going to be able to do that. So that's really cool about this car. I mean, I'm kind of all smiles right now. This is impressive. Let's see if we can get into it again here. Wow, I mean, you know, here's the deal. It doesn't matter what brand of car it is. You get to a certain kind of power, and I don't think, as a car enthusiast, you'll never not be able to have a smile on your face when you get into it. The sound is so good. I mean, stock exhaust anymore has come so far. I think that we as an industry, they had concentrated so much on trying to make sure they stayed within emissions, which they have to. It's a federal regulation, but you know, and trying to do better for fuel economy, and it really just for so long took away from a sound that you wanted to hear. And so these newer cars are doing such a good job of staying within emission protocols and all of those things, maximizing fuel economy. But when it's in a performance vehicle, you still want that rawness, that sound, and not only from the outside of the vehicle, but inside as well. And I gotta tell you, this is impressive. I'm thoroughly impressed by this. I mean, it's got a little hint of carbon fiber, you know, in the interior, wrapping around it, which is nice. It rides really good. I'm impressed. This is a really nice vehicle. So I couldn't. I mean, I knew it was impressive from one of the guys from work that owns one. He's been satisfied with it. He actually bought it new. So I knew the car. I mean, obviously, you know, Dodge has done a great job and Jeep of making an engine that's very impressive. There's a lot of YouTubers out there that have driven Hellcats, and I know Tavares is doing his donor swap from the 17. I think it was a 17 V6 that, I mean, was just junk and smelled worse than I could ever imagine. I felt for him just watching the video, and I couldn't smell what they were going through. But taking that pre-production Hellcat Demon and just transferring it over so he has a VIN car he can enjoy, I mean, that's it's pretty cool. I mean, this car is built for performance, and so you know, a lot of people have a lot of good things to say about the Hellcat, and especially the Demon side. And you know, and this one being an SRT Hellcat that's 700 horsepower. And an SUV, you don't get much better than that, you know. So we are going to get down here and kind of turn around and do the turning radius and some things like that. But this is, I'm thoroughly impressed with this. I think for the money, if you compare it to what other things that this has to offer versus in a different market, as far as, you know, what are you going to get for similar power, similar luxury SUV, you know, there's not a lot out. That's something that GM, if you're watching, you guys have got to get something out and high performance to compete. That's one thing that GM I feel like just hasn't really had is an SUV in the last 10 years that's, you know, really gone for power. They did great with the Corvettes and with the Camaros and, you know, Cadillac's line with the you know, CTSV and ATSV and things like that. I mean, they did a really good job with cars offering something like that. But I mean, you guys got to get an SUV that does that. Now Cadillac did, which they are the kings of coming out with a teaser vehicle, or saying they're thinking about something or whatever. Escalade V, you guys need to do an Escalade V. I will buy one for sure. I've been an Escalade fan for a long time. You know, that SUV does a ton for our family, being able to pull the boat, being able to take, you know, Ryder, and we take friends anywhere, go on a trip. I mean, it's definitely the room and luxury. And it's 420 horsepower, but you're moving a tank. And when you're moving a tank, 420 horsepower is just not a lot comparative in a sense of a performance style. So if you guys are thinking about a Cadillac Escalade V, do it. I think that you would be thoroughly impressed with how many people would react in a positive way and buy it, because that's something that we've needed for a long time. And, you know, they finally put 6.2s and Tahoes and Suburbans, but, you know, it's something that Escalade and the Yukon Denali's had for years. And it's time to get with it. Time to get with it. So, but for a mid-size SUV, I mean, 2-row, plenty of room and storage in the back for, you know, if you want just a 2-row SUV and you're looking in this kind of price point, I don't think that you can go wrong with a Trackhawk. I think that it's definitely worth it. So yeah, let's have some more fun with this thing. Turn around here. Go there, mama. I think the heated seats are come on automatically because my butt is warm, so it's got the heated seats, and I think it's got ventilated seats. It's got your heated steering wheel, got it for both sides, obviously. These screens are so smart now that, I mean, you pretty much do everything on your screen, just touch screen throughout. So that's pretty cool. There's a Bentley Bentayga. That's a pretty cool vehicle as well. That's a different kind of bears, you know, when it comes to that and the Lamborghini Urus. I mean, those two SUVs are kind of like similar to their, you know, Bentley Continentals and you know, like a Huracan or something. They make them similar, just put an SUV shell on it, which is really neat. But, you know, you're talking 150 to 250 grand, 300 grand for an SUV, and it's a lot of money. But again, they took the mold of understanding that, you know, some people would love to have a two-door supercar from McLaren or Lamborghini or Ferrari, but they don't have the ability to buy that car when it doesn't work well for their family. So, you know, it's just not the way that it works out. So every brand now has kind of come out with a type of vehicle that you can use as a utility, but also give you some good performance. So that's really cool. For the money, Trackhawk is a really good option. Yeah, I don't want to get a ticket here, obviously, so slowing back down. Let's get through a couple gear changes so you can really hear that power. And man, this is, yeah, I'm thoroughly impressed. You know, it's got just really good detail. It's got the suede pillars here, and which I think is a big mark, and it's suede on the headliner too. So that's really nice. And to me, that's always what I look for. If I'm going to spend the money and get kind of above the rim vehicle, and I want something that's, you know, different from competition, those are the details I think that a lot of people want to pay attention to. There's that carbon fiber style trim piece, which I think looks really good. Yeah, this thing's, I mean, it's very quick. You don't have to push hard on the accelerator to get it to go. I mean, it's kind of a touch and go deal. I mean, you put that foot anywhere past just idling through, you're gonna get the power you want. Let this guy go. Without putting it in track mode, not hammering it to the floor, I mean, it's still going to 4,500 to 5,000 RPMs between shift. I mean, that's impressive. You know, to be able to get that kind of performance out of it. Like I said, I mean, you know, we all know that the motor's capable. We all know what it's been doing. It's been in the Hellcat for some time now, and the Charger, and you know, the 300 SRTs as well that's had them. But this Hellcat engine is impressive. I know that a lot of people have talked and had a lot of good things to say about them, but me personally, I've never driven a vehicle that had it in it. And I mean, being a GM guy, because I'm a GM guy through and through when it comes to my favorite domestic brand, but I definitely respect other brands and what they bring to the table. I think that the Ford Lightning truck is a cool truck. The TRX, I mean, the TRX is a freaking monster. It's got a Hellcat motor in it. I mean, it's an off-roading monster. But man, if you're a Dodge or Jeep person, you've got a lot to be excited about. You got a lot of options beyond having to go to a sedan to get the power you want. I mean, you guys, there's some cool videos out there. Some cool cars, cool trucks, and SUVs. You know, the Durango. My father-in-law is a detective, so he drives Durangos. You know, honestly, when it comes to the Camaro segment, I always said that outside of a GM, the Challengers, actually over the Camaro, as far as, you know, mimicking that classic look of what it was trying to represent, and recreation of that vehicle. They did the best with that. But you know, Camaro was always my first choice because I default to GM, and I like the car a lot. I've had 3 of them, but Challenger's a good pick. I mean, Challenger's a really good pick. So yeah, I'd say that if you're in the market for a 2-row SUV that touches 700 horsepower, not a lot of options out there, especially for the money that this is, but I think that you'd have a winner and be excited to own an SUV like this. Man, it's kind of hard to say anything against it, to be honest with you. So, well, as far as a review on this car, I'd say an 8 out of 10. I think it's a really good call on this one. I think that the details look really good on this one. I think that the interior looks really nice. It feels good. It's comfortable. It's luxury feeling. The outside styling I think looks really good. Wheels look great on this. Yeah, I think an 8 out of 10 is fair. I think it's I think that it's something to think about if you want to pay in this kind of price range. You get a vehicle of this caliber. I think that you're in the right one. And like I said, it's huge disappointment for me as far as being a gym guy and not having an SUV that does this. You know, everybody and every company's different, and they pay attention to different details, and I get that. I mean, I understand that, you know, there's only so many things that they tailor to in a sense of trying to be driven towards performance, and maybe the, you know, engineers or executives just feel like that's not really a segment that they want to be in. I don't know why, when you got Corvettes and you got, you know, sedans and, you know, CTSV and things of that nature that are in that space. But I mean, it's definitely there. Well, I mean, I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this vehicle. Well, that is the reveal of the day, the review of the day, going over a Trackhawk. And like I said, it's not something that I've personally, you know, just grabbed me from the start when it comes to a Jeep in general. I know there, like I said, I know there's a lot of people that love them, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's why there's different brands and different things. So, but, you know, I'm thoroughly impressed with this vehicle. I think that, you know, the styling's there, everything's there. And for the money, I don't know if there's a better SUV that you can buy for the performance aspect and what it offers. There's just not a lot in the market to compete against. So hands up to Jeep. I mean, you know, they made their own space, or, you know, took it to the next level. So that's going to do it for today's video. Like I said, you know, we got to get a battery in the Maserati. We got to get the Corvette cleaned up. Hope that the electronic issue is finally over with. No new news has come out on the Corvette Z06 yet, other than what we have already seen. If you haven't seen the review video on the Z06, please go check it out. I actually talked to you about how to design yours if you haven't done that, or you don't know how to do that. There were still a lot of people that didn't know you could do that yet. So you can design the car on the website, Chevrolet.com, and that is something Chevrolet's taken to the next level and done a great job with. So go check that video out if you haven't. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. That's what this is all about, and continuing to bring great cars, trucks, and SUVs, boats, anything that has a motor in it to the channel. And again, we got a lot of cool stuff coming down the pipeline. So you know, stay tuned with me, keep going through the journey with me, which I truly appreciate. Each subscribe, like, and comment really helps boost the opportunities that we can have to keep bringing you guys the best content we can. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful day outside here in Indiana. I mean, obviously it's chillier. We're in November now, but you know, Christmas being right around the corner, there's a lot of cool things going on. So make sure you check out the rest of the channel. Hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you in the next one.